though I didn't go research this book or whatever. I'm sorry. But he quotes it, and I wanted to quote it as well because it makes total logical sense. Because the political good in their world is mutable and always changing, the neoconservatives do not want fixed principles to which they are beholden, nor do they strive to be morally or politically consistent. Their power and authority is generated and sustained by the illusion that the world is in a state of constant change and that it is governed by what Machiavelli called fortuna. So the idea is that neoconservatives, or conservatives as people would know them now, they are people that think that change is always constant and is always necessary, but they're the ones that create the change. And in my argument is that there are progressives, as you know, we have known them ever since the 1920s or something, and always trying to promote a bigger government. And conservatives will say one thing to their base, and when they get elected, or even they may think this anyway, and when they get elected, they change their attitudes toward a progressive ideal. And I've seen this talked about when we talk, or if you look at the senators from Maine currently. They say one thing and then they flip-flop. Or there are some people from South Carolina that will do the same thing. They'll say one thing, believe in a small government, and then they get flip-flopped somehow. But it's because they get changed. And conservatives, as they are, believe that, yeah, change is always going to happen. But they don't realize that it's their own people that actually make the change. The people that they talk with, that they can align themselves with, they're the people that change and make them believe that there is constant change. Anyway, let's continue with this. What Thompson finds in his studies of neoconservatism is that neoconservatives do indeed have not only have an ideology for our time, a financially sustainable welfare state at home and regime-building crusades abroad, but a full philosophy underlying that ideology. Thompson summarizes his conclusions about the nature of neoconservative ideology. The neoconservative vision of a good America is one in which ordinary people work hard, read the Bible, go to church on Sunday, recite the Pledge of Allegiance, practice homespun virtue, sacrifice themselves to the common good, obey the commands of the government, fight wars, and die for the state. And I have to put in, if anybody's ever watched Deep Space Nine, this reminds me directly of a Cardassian. These guys, just live and die for the state. If you look up, I think it was season 2, look up The Wire, and Garrick, talks about living for the state, dying for the state. There's only one reason to live, is for the state. Anyway, I'll continue. Such an ideology, Such an ideology, Thompson shows, goes against the grain of Americanism as a stream of Jeffersonian ideas such as individualism and government serving only as a night watchman, not as a shepherd of our lives in a collective. So that's another thing, agreed. I also noticed that people believe that the government is there to protect you. No, it is there to notice what is going on and to protect your rights after something has happened. Once a crime is committed, then the government can be pursued. While nothing happens to your rights, while your rights are not violated, people can do as they please. This is why I advocate, allowing people to drive at radical speeds. Though, obviously, you should be personally responsible for yourself and not speed. But the idea is that a crime has not been committed. They should be out there not to protect for your safety and to right every wrong. They should just be there to watch out for property rights. This is the Jeffersonian idea. Anyway, but if I back up, there was a quote here. The neoconservative vision of a good America is one in which ordinary people work hard, read the Bible, go to church on Sunday, recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Stop. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Again, this is nationalism. Nationalism leads to the wrong idea and is a progressive idea. This is why wars are fought, just to allow the state to progress, to grow. And this is wrong. This is the total backwards, totally wrong from American principles. While reading the Bible, going to church on Sunday, that's good. They teach principles. However, people should have the ability to choose their own religion as well. So as long as you're not telling anybody what to do, telling them how to profess or to be religious or not to be, then you do what you want. That's fine. I won't go that way. However, fighting wars and dying for the state, that is the epitome of nationalism and collectivism, as they said. And in a way, it leads to communism at that. Though, arguably, obviously, we're not there yet, but we're very close. Again, with the Federal Reserve and agriculture and all this other stuff. Anyway, enough of that. Actually, one more thing. I came up with an idea. The conservative idea is that we are aggressive abroad and obedient at home. And while the libertarian and the liberal philosophy will say that we just make friends abroad and friends at home. You make as many friends as you can, and that is the ideal of a good relationship and a good life, as opposed to just being all tough and exterior and you be obedient and obey the law no matter what it is, even if it's wrong, even if it's unconstitutional. Jefferson once said to have friends with all nations but make no entangling alliances. And this is good because I'm going to go into this a little bit because I don't know a lot of it, but we have an alliance with Israel right now while we're at war with just about everybody else in the world. Why? Why don't we just make friends with everybody? Why don't we stay out of these big fights, just bring our troops home, let them deal with their own stuff, because none of it affects me in my life. It probably doesn't affect you in your life. I can't say that, but I'd say bring our troops home, let them sleep, and just be friends with everybody. Have good trade, and again, trade is very important as opposed to war. These are the two opposites. Bastiat once said that. Soldiers across lines are whatever. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, let's continue. How much time do we have anyway?